Over the time of the years with FL Studio, they really grew themselves up from just a beat production type of program to more of a audio recording related type of program. My favorite, of course, is the visual recording. When you record, you see the waveforms. That's so tight, man. Shinny, oh my god, man. Thank you for that. Well, since we're at FL Studio 20.8 or something like that, 8.3, it looks like we're getting closer to 21. And in this video, I have about 4 things that I want to talk to y'all about in terms of what could be in 21 that could make this even better for, users of FL Studio. 3 of them pretty much artist recording related, but one is like for everyone, I guess. From artists out there that do record on FL Studio, I'm sure we all ran through this tedious process, which is pretty much clicking on every single vocal recording, going to the declick mode option, and then setting it to your preferred declicking mode. For me, it's general. Is it called general? And then guess what? Repeat the process as many times as you have to, and then, consolidate your tracks so you don't get little pops and clips when you merge your tracks together. Wouldn't it be nice if we have a option like a batch declicking mode of sorts? So check it out. In the channel rack, what if we highlight all of our vocals, then we go to tools, macros, and then there's an option that says set declicking mode for selected. And then you have the declicking mode options such as the generic, sorry, that's the right word. And then you click it and FL Studio makes your life easier by setting all of them to have a specific declicking that you wanted. Wouldn't that put off a lot of time and stress from the artists themselves who want to make music? When you're in the creative process, part of it is just staying in that momentum, being good. And then let's say you're finished recording, now you want to hear how it sounds, and then after your cuts you hear a lot of clicking and popping, and then you're like, all right, gotta declick off, declick off, declick off, and you're doing this like 25-50 times depending on how many vocal takes you've taken. That's a mood killer. You know what else is a mood killer? My second point, which is gonna be denoising. In FL Studio, if you want to denoise your sounds, you want to clean up your vocals, the best way to do it is to manually have it cleaned in Edison. Edison is a program inside of FL Studio that allows you to edit your audio. One of the beautiful functions of it is the denoising option, where you could take the noise profile of your vocals, the parts where you don't speak, take that and use it to pretty much cancel out the other noise in the background of the sound. Yet again, this is another tedious process that, a lot of people just don't like. It kills off a lot of time as well, just to manually click and things like that. And speaking from someone who got like wrist pain, I'm pretty sure it was carpal tunnel. I'm not gonna front with y'all. Doing the tedious process of denoising every single time is annoying. How about we do the same thing again? You highlight the sounds, you go to tools, macros, denoise. After you find the noise profile, denoise all clips. I mean, I can understand if you click this and it'll take, I don't know, like 10 minutes, maybe even more, depending on the length of your vocals. But trust me, one click of a button, or like 2, 3, to get to the option, boop, and then you could go do whatever else you want to do in life, You could get up, you could step away from your mix so you could freshen your ears, you could go drink, you could go pick vegetables out of your garden, and then come back after that 30 or so minutes to see all your vocals cleaned out. Wouldn't that be a blessing? Rather than going, hey, click this, go here, denoise, do this, hey, denoise. It's annoying. Yes, I know there are plugins that do allow the, denoising of a sound in real time. Matter of fact, I tried them before and it's pretty dope, I ain't gonna front. Waves NS1 for a great example. There's also other Wave plugins too, but, we don't have to get all in detail with it. Just know that these are plugins, man. These are plugins that's working with real time, as in you have a little delay before you hit play and you see things going into action. Ugh, boring. We don't like that. We do not like latency at all. We don't like pressing play and then hearing things a second later. It's annoying. So I don't know if you guys at ImageLion could figure a way how to make this possible. More blessings to you. The third thing that has to do with artists that I feel like we could, improve on in FL Studio is the option to copy a plugin into multiple inserts. So what I'm talking about is pretty much the same old when you go to file and then save preset as, and you could click and drag and drop. Beautiful. What if we could create a way where we could copy the plugin, I don't know, file, copy plugin, something like that, and then highlight the rest of them, and then go into the top bar, perhaps edit, paste plugin into selected inserts. Something like that, for example. Or maybe you're in the browser and you see the plugin that you want and you want to drop it into multiple inserts like that. Just highlight all the insert tracks that you want to use, click and drag, and guess what? Boop, 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 boop. All these plugins that you want in each of the inserts. Wouldn't that be great? The thing that sucks about doing it one at a time, which, you know, I'm not being a biah about it, I'm just saying, is that once you do click and drag and drop into an insert, it's pretty much, okay, loading, plugin, there it is, do it again, loading, plugin, there it is. And something that's annoying is, like, if you're copying a plugin with a big GUI screen, it could cover up your mixer insert and you'll have to like click on the mixer window and then do the same process. I know for auto-tune that's one of the things. Annoying, annoying, annoying. Wouldn't it be great just to drag and drop all at the same time? And I know to counter this, you could create your own FL Studio template recording. But the problem with this is, you know, a lot of people, we like to... Oh, cat crying. Yosh, there you go. Where was I? I remember now, the template thing. The thing about it is that a lot of us like to create our beats and then make the song style depending on how it is. We don't usually like to have the whole template of, hey, here's all the plugins, boom, right from the get-go. You gotta load all these things. It's annoying. And I tried it out with a friend that was like helping, mentoring in a sense. The only thing is that when you hit startup on FL Studio, you're loading like hundreds of plugins if you create a template like this, automatic. And again, from a creator's perspective, when you want to create, you're in the mood, you're in the momentum. So if you hit start from the beginning, like open FL Studio, and you're waiting like 10 minutes, it's annoying. It's annoying, annoying, annoying. See, the denoising process is after you're done with your creations and then you're getting into the mixing phase. You know, you can freshen your ears, but putting in these plugins in the beginning is just, you know, when you're about to start your creativity. Who wants that? And I know my computer is pretty damn fast. I ain't trying to boast. There's other people with laptops with, you know, earlier models, or perhaps they don't have the best of CPU processing, that will take a long time. I've made a video showing the difference with an SSD alone. I know we're in 2021 where a lot of computers have SSDs now, but, you know, for us who don't have them, you know, it'll take a minute, a long minute, like a 5-minute minute. So yeah, perhaps adding a multiple plugin copy paste type of function would be beautiful for a lot of people. And I hope that you guys and girls could agree with this. So let me know in the comment section below. And the last thing that I want to put, pretty much a bonus point for sorts, is the option to have some sort of MIDI hub for scripting, or perhaps MIDI control support. So let's say, for example, let's say you want to do performance and you have this device and you want to like drum a beat, and you have these faders, and these faders from default are not even set up. You know, of course, doing it manually is, you know, the way to go about it, right? Link to controller or override generic link. Well, a lot of us don't like to do this manual processing, which, you know, is lazy, but it's also like, you know, think of the people who wants to create but don't understand the tech. I get this left and right from people, man. It's like, I love this program, I love creating music, but I just can't get the technology underhand. So what if there's people who are beautiful enough to create the scripts for these type of MIDI devices so that you could be able to, you know, have action right on the go. So for example, let's say this fader right here controls, I don't know, sample one's decay or attack. You know, AD, decay, sustain, release. So wouldn't it be nice to have somebody pre-make it for you and then you could get right to action? Again, this is more about, you know, being ready to get your creative sense on in a snap. One thing I suffer from is having a long keyboard, the M-Audio Axiom, and not being able to use something like the transport functions right on time like that. I mean, yes, you could go into the generic controlled setting or whatever it may be and set it to the oxygen and audio oxygen. That's cool and all, but then I have like all those F buttons that's not in use. The little circle buttons, even the faders, the knobs, things of that sort. What if we created a hub, and by we I mean you guys over there, I'm sorry. But what if there was a hub relation to download custom scripting presets from people from those ImageLine boards? You see, kind of like how Flex is in a sort, except Flex is like actual developers and stuff. I've seen there was boards on ImageLine about the MIDI control scripts, and then you could go there and click and download and you'll be cool. But the problem is that a lot of these people using FL Studio, they don't want to go to boards. They don't know what the boards are. They probably don't even know what I'm talking about right now. The forums. I myself would like to type these suggestions in the ImageLine forums, but I'm lazy, and a lot of us are. So perhaps adding this function in the MIDI settings for sorts, let's say options, MIDI settings, instead of generic, maybe there's a button right next to it to say, hey, download your controller or search for your controller. And people who do have, different controllers, like the Akai Mini Lab, for example, could download a script that some generous people could create and people verify, I guess, so they could use it right on snap, right on time in the program. They just set it up, get it all in there, quick, pronto, stat, cool, we're up to creating music. Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? Oh, one more thing. I don't know why, but like native plugins, they don't have their own MIDI out. I kind of talked about this in the other video. I don't know if you guys could bring that back or maybe guide me to the right way to do a proper MIDI out. That would be amazing. But yeah, those are my 4.5, I guess, things that I would like to see in the new FL Studio, especially for the artists. You guys have been doing a great job though at FL Studio, at ImageLine. You've been doing a great job, just blessing us with all these free updates, man. But these extra points that I mentioned in this video could help us even further. So I hope that these points could help, the program altogether, I guess. Do you guys feel like you have any other sort of improvements that FL Studio could do or ImageLine could do to have better performance or better workarounds? If so, let me know in the comment section below. I'm always down to, check them out. And if you say something that's already there, like for example, dubbing in vocals or having vocals stay within the same, group or so, I'll point out how to do it in the comments below. Or you guys who are generous could help answer as well. Thank you guys and girls for watching this video. I am sick, but I'm sick of being sick, so I gotta make a video for y'all. But yeah, it's your boy Justin Omoe. And with that being said, like, subscribe, and peace. I'm out. Please have yourselves a damn good one.